This is Lupo.
And this is Lee.
These are our reviews. We're about to go in and watch Equalizer 2. And one of the setups here is I haven't seen the first film. Mark has.
Yeah.
So we'll give you a review. We'll let you know what we think. Stand by. We just finished watching Equalizer 2. Now, before we start, a couple things I want to say is I never saw the first one, and I purposely didn't watch it so I could come into this movie fresh without any, judgment based off of the first film that we had, that came out. Now, Mark has seen the first film,
Right.
and so this was, I guess, a continuation. So my perspective is literally from not seeing or knowing anything about this. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Equalizer is based off a 1985 TV show.
Right.
And
What was his name? Edward something. Edward whatever, yeah.
I never watched it.
Yeah.
I was alive during the time, but I never watched it.
And I may have only watched maybe 1-2 episodes on the fly, yeah.
So let's talk about let's talk about the movie. We literally just finished watching it, and so should we start with the acting? Or where do you want to start on that?
Well, let me just preface this by saying that yes, I did see the first Equalizer, and I really enjoyed the first Equalizer.
Right.
I think Denzel Washington was a very cool character. It wasn't too much of an origin story. He was pretty much ingrained into his character and what he's been doing or whatever. I saw more origins of his story in this movie than I did the first one.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so that was kind of a little bit of a plus, especially the characters that he interacted with and the history behind that. To kind of correct you on a little bit where you said this was a continuation. It wasn't a continuation of the story of the Equalizer. It was actually a continuation of the character.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So there were no loose ends in the last movie that were tied up in this one. They were both two separate movies,
right?
Okay, or storylines, as you can say. So, in terms of acting, to get to your question, in terms of acting, I always think anything that Denzel acts in is excellent. It's kind of hard to say, oh well, that sucked, or he delivered that line wrong. So, in terms of acting, I would give it an A.
Yeah. So I concur with that 100%. I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan. To me, Personally, I consider him one of the finest actors of our time.
Oh, I agree.
Massive fan of his. To me, his acting is always on point. He's phenomenal. I love pretty much everything he does.
Agreed.
So don't get me wrong. When it comes to acting,
I'm in concert with you.
Literally, Denzel Washington pulled the film off.
Right.
That's the saving grace.
We'll leave it at that. The acting was fine.
The acting was absolutely. Denzel Washington specifically, his acting was spot on.
Yes.
All right, so
Agreed.
Let's talk the story and the plot. Let's kind of go from how the story rolled and this is supposed to be an action film. So let me tell you my personal opinion.
Yes.
I felt the action was like a sine wave. It was like, oh, action, and then I got bored, and then action, and a little action, and
right. You sound like you wanted action in this movie.
I wanted action in this film.
Okay.
And I wanted consistency with the plot. There were some plot lines in there that I didn't think made any sense. So, like, for instance, there's a plot line in there, and then when it wraps up, I'm like, well, I thought that was about art.
Right.
But what is going on now?
Right.
Without saying anything more,
Yeah.
I'm like, that never got resolved to me.
Okay.
And never got resolved.
My problem with the storyline was, and kind of in contrary to your up and down and up and down and up and down, I kind of study movies sometimes, or at least study the plot to see from beginning where it's going, to see some surprises that may pop out on us in continuation of the storyline, and the action, because he is in fact the Equalizer. was necessary, of course. We all know that, but I had a problem tying everything together.
Absolutely.
It's like, well, wait a minute, and I'm gonna move ahead a little bit. This was a long movie. Not only was it long,
Yes.
but when every movie has a climax, and
Right.
when you're expecting to see the climax, you're like, okay, great, all right, here comes the ending.
This
to
is
the
the wrap
movie.
up.
Here's the ending to the movie. Well, no, it didn't necessarily end, but it kind of did like a 180 or maybe a 360-degree turn. And it's like, okay, let's no longer make this just total suspense and have action in the city in one location and
Yeah.
whatever.
I didn't
and
even think it was suspenseful.
Yeah, and without
You know?
without even doing any spoilers, it moved somewhere totally
Yeah.
irrelevant to me. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this about? Where'd that go?
Exactly.
And I did write a lot of notes in the dark. As you can
Yeah.
say, oh wow, I write good in the dark.
Better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote something. This may be slow for some, is
Yeah.
what I wrote.
I wrote, I'm bored.
You're bored. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of depth and detail, but it's scattered. It's like, you know.
So, you're saying scattered. It's like watching Pulp Fiction for the first time. You're like, wait, isn't he dead? Wait,
Right.
where'd that happen?
Right.
And how it jumped around and then it started making sense?
Right.
Well, this never really made sense.
Right.
It jumps around, not like Pulp Fiction, but it reminded me of like, wait, when's it going to start making sense? And then I felt like it was lacking and that it didn't completely make sense. It says it's kind of like a shotgun blast. And it was, I felt even the action scenes were extremely tame to me. They weren't like, he's like, all right, we're going to do something action. There was one specific scene where I went, whoa. And you know what scene I'm talking about.
Yes, I did.
And that was it. There was twice where I went, chuckle.
Yeah.
Twice in the
Yeah.
whole movie. And then the rest of the movie, I was like, how long is this?
Yeah, but let me tell you something about that. I think and we don't spoil, so
Yeah,
even if I
no
said
spoilers.
this, if you didn't expect to see anything like this in this movie, then you're well, please, but some of the murders that were created or enacted, shall I say, in
Yeah.
this movie were like, wow.
Yeah, that specific where I went, whoa.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because I was like, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was brutal. That's the word I was.
yeah,
looking for.
it's a good description of that. But when it comes to the film itself, man, I really kind of want to look up the editor and go.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
There's times when you watch a movie and you're going, gosh, I wish they made this a 3-hour film because under 2 hours was not enough.
I'm still looking for that answer on the running time, because typically for people that are used to going to movies, you can pretty much gauge in your mind when the ending is coming up,
Right.
because you're at that 2-hour mark.
Exactly.
This was like, wait a minute, there's more?
and not out of excitement. It was like, what are we going to do?
It says 129 minutes. Really?
So just over 2 hours.
9 minutes over 2 hours. I'm
Wow.
like, it really felt longer than that, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be
felt
honest,
longer.
I mean, this was probably my least favorite Denzel Washington film.
Yeah.
And not because of Denzel Washington, not at all. I love him.
Yeah.
I just felt the movie was lacking.
Yeah,
it was drastically lacking.
Denzel was good in this part. Denzel, for those of you that saw the first Equalizer movie, there are scenes of Denzel himself, and what you didn't know, which I wanted to tell you in the movie, but you really had to see the first movie to know. In the first movie, when he started to set his clock, is when the crowd really got emotional and happy. It's like, oh my God, something's about to happen.
Right.
That's his norm. When he starts to set that clock, here it comes, and he runs this whole scenario in his mind of how he's going to literally take out bad guys.
Oh, really? So he actually runs it in his
He
head?
runs it. I would
have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to have seen that.
I was saying the word precog
Yeah.
so much in my mind because, you know, he was running in his mind how he's going to
Well,
basically, you know.
and just to jump films real quick, if you've seen the Sherlock Holmes films, if you haven't.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So like
I
when
love
he's sitting
those,
there and
yeah.
he's running through his mind how he's going to defeat the
Robert
bad
Downey
guy.
Jr.
Yeah, Robert
Yeah,
Downey, which
yes.
was brilliant.
It was
so
brilliant.
he
It
runs
was
in his
brilliant.
head how he's going to do it, and then all of a sudden you see it. You know,
yeah.
I would have loved to have seen this in that, and if that was the predecessor, they should have kept that in.
All right, let's not bore these folks too much longer. But you want to give this a score from 1 to 10?
Oh my God!
You want me to go first?
Go ahead and go first.
All right, and you guys who know me on Facebook and the spoiler-free reviews I typically write, you know why I score the way I score. If you're at a 7, okay, 7 and 8 is good to me, okay? 9 is excellent, 10 is over the top.
Right.
Remember, 7 is good to me, 8, 9, 10. 6.5 I give The Equalizer 2, 6.5. Is that too high?
You're far more generous than I am. You're far more generous than I am. To be honest.
Yeah, no, you have to be. There's no other way.
There's no other way.
Yes.
Realistically, this is not a movie I would ever watch again.
Right, same here. I agree with you on that point.
I would never own it. And later on, after our review, we actually interviewed a couple here. And I'll show you the interview because they had a completely different view of the film.
They did. Yes.
So to me,
what's your number?
I'm gonna have to give it a 4.
A 4.
4, and that was
a 4, ladies and gentlemen.
And honestly, I would rate it lower if it wasn't for Denzel Washington because I love him. But I thought that it was not absolutely horrible.
Right.
But it wasn't good.
Yep. I gave it a 6.5. Once they went to that final location, and that's all I'm going to say, I just totally lost it. I just wanted to bang my head on the back of the chair. Why? But in terms of the build-up in the beginning, the suspense and things of that nature.
There were some very nice parts or very good parts of the film. Right. That's without a doubt.
Right.
But they weren't consistent enough to maintain a strong interest in the whole film.
Agreed.
So this is Lupo and Lee Reviews.
Lupo and Lee Reviews. That was our first one, guys. This is
our first review.
Our premiere review. So take it for heart. And like I always say, don't take our opinions. Go judge for yourself.
So final words here. I mean, I gave it a 4.
6.5.
He gives it a 6.5.
I'll stick with that.
Please let us know in the comments below what films you want us to review, even if it's an older film.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, agreed.
We're going to be filming pretty much every Thursday, and trying to put up the reviews on Friday.
Right.
But if there's a movie that's already out or been out before, because we both watched Ready Player One at the same theater. That's actually how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met, and we love that movie. Yeah. We have Mission Impossible next week.
And next week we will be here for Mission Impossible. But please give us comments below. Tell us what you want.
Yeah.
And if you watched the movie, please give us your review or give us your number. Let us know what you thought of the film.
Everybody has an opinion, okay?
So,
and we respect them all.
I'm Lupo.
I'm Mark. Lee.
And this is our reviews. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Good afternoon. What are your names?
Glenn.
And Cynthia.
Hi. So, what movie did you just see?
Equalizer 2.
Equalizer 2. Mm-hmm. What was your overall opinion of the film?
It was excellent.
It was great.
Really good?
Yeah, it was excellent. It was made well. And it also had a lot of meaning also. A lot of meaning in the sense of survival. And it's just going to show you sometime when you actually think that you're out of it, you're right back in it again. And I think Denzel is an excellent actor, but I also like that he introduces new people, or even the director, Mr. Fuqua, I think put it together real well. I mean, the setting was nice, even when it was in Boston, it was nice. It sent a lot of message. Then it also showed diversity. It showed a lot of diversity. It also started out with the Muslims, and then it went on to what Boston is all about also, and I believe that the diversity was something that was important also. But the new actor, the young fella, the kid that was supposed to be his neighbor, the kid that did the mural, that was also bringing out the truth, you know, never giving up. He had a talent, and Denzel stressed the point that he was somebody that had a lot more to offer than just being a gangbanger.
Gotcha.
And,
So what was your favorite part of the film?
Well, the whole movie was great, but the messages that I think the message that was sent was never giving up, and if you are willing and you do want to strive, you can make it to the top. After looking at that mural that kid did on the wall, it showed talent, which I've seen that kind of talent from kids that actually need just that encouragement.
Gotcha.
And it gave a lot of encouragement for those who think that they're out of it. They're really not out of it. They have talent, and they need to just go ahead and show it. And we have a lot of young men and a lot of young women that have that talent.
I agree.
We just have to have people that want to work with them and give them a chance to elevate themselves.
So what was your favorite part?
The whole movie was great to me.
Really?
From the beginning to the
Non-stop?
end. Non-stop. If you took a little nod, you'd have missed it. You would
So
have.
is this a movie that you would go see again?
Oh, yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Okay. Is this a movie that you would buy on Blu-ray or digital?
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. So definitely good for the home collection.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
definitely. I got one now, and I'm waiting for this to come out. I'll have it in my collection.
Fantastic. Thank you guys very, very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.